long time ago, our people were strong. Our culture was strong. We had a closer tie with nature than we do now. Something happened though. Strangers came and said, what is yours is no longer yours, and you can never be the way you were before. And that was a pretty awful and sad time for our people. But it's not that way anymore. It's not that way anymore because we're proud and all of us are celebrating our culture and who we are.
The ties that bind us to Haida Gwaii are in our clan stories, songs, and histories, and in our future.
Lakota young people today are coming in groves, huge groves, back to the traditional lifestyles. When I was a young man, there used to be that we had only one Sundance, and today we have over 60. The music, the songs, the dance, the effort, the fasting, the prayers, all of these things strikes a deep chord within our young people. So as a result of it, they're really coming back to the system, to the way, you know. Every place in this continent has its own story, every hill has its own story, every river has its own story, and it's written in so many different languages and tongues. Finally, I think as more and more generations are born, they hear it. And then it triggers something very, very deep inside of them, and then they go ahead and are able to incorporate that into their everyday life. And I think this is where the struggle is. How do you pay attention to the demands of nature as well as your demands as a human being in what we call modern day America?
The powwow also has a purpose. Today we live in a culture of distraction. A place must be kept that pushes back against the distractions. A place that understands the culture because it embraces its individuals.
Drum dancing mean a lot to me because I grew up with both styles, from my great-grandmother and my mother, and my grandparents also from the Western style. It means a lot to me to pass it on because they were the ones that taught us how culture and traditions are. And they're very, very healing to the heart, where it means where you grew up, where you came from, and where you're going to be from here.
We are power. We are energy. We are spirit. We are the people. We want to be free. We want our liberation. Then we must take the responsibility that goes with liberation and freedom, and that responsibility is to be able to take the time to analyze and to think and to feel things out to their logical conclusion. Stay with these things to the end, to the good conclusion. We cannot come and get involved in this for a year or 2 years. We must pick our way of life and we must live to it.
One morning I woke up and I heard my brother crying. He was screaming so loud you thought someone was dying. "Mom, Dad," he screamed, but there was no use trying. They weren't around. I ran outside and saw he'd had a pretty bad crash. His bike was in the ditch, down his arm a bloody gash. He looked so pitiful, just sitting there in the dirt amongst the trash, crying, "I want Mom and Dad." I picked him up and started running toward my uncle's up the way. It started raining and got real dark. He could barely tell it was day. My brother cried and asked, "Sister, where's Mom?" I didn't know what to say, when the truth is, I don't know. When my uncle saw us coming, he ran into the yard. He took my brother from me and he held him in his arms. When he saw my face, I could tell he was alarmed. And he said, "What happened? Did you fall too?" "Uncle, I'm so tired of wondering why. Why do they drink? Why do they do drugs? Why do they leave us? Why?" He said, "Sister, it's hard to explain." And I said, "Uncle, try." And then he told this story.
Once this land was teepees as far as you can see. The water was clean, the land pristine. We were where we were meant to be. Then strangers came across the sea and brought with them their disease. Our people cried and prayed and sang, but it brought them to their knees.
We will rise up from the darkness. We will overcome the pain. Warrior spirits live within us. We shall remain.
Imagine that your family, and most of all your tribe, what if most of everyone you love suddenly got sick and died? And before you even had a chance to bury them and mourn, the strangers came and took away the land where you were born. And you wondered if your parents even cared as they stole you and your brother away, or if they'd been so beaten down they had nothing left to say. And then at school, they cut your hair and beat you if you spoke. The language that Creator gave our people when Earth awoke.
We will rise up from the darkness. We will overcome the pain. Warrior spirits live within us. We shall remain.
Sister, I'm not trying to tell you that your mom and dad are okay, or that they are not responsible for the choices that they've made. But you see this bloody wound on your little brother's arm. If we don't clean it, it won't heal and it'll do all kinds of harm. Those deep wounds of our ancestors still bleed within our hearts. When we remember all they've done, that's where the healing starts. So every morning when you wake, you pray this prayer out loud. Creator, help me live in a way that would make my ancestors proud.
We will rise up from the darkness.
Don't you forget this. You can be anything you want to be.
We will overcome the pain.
Just work hard, never give up. Perseverance is the key.
Warrior spirits live within
Strength,
us.
dignity, honor, that's all in your family tree. So hold your head up high and know that.
We shall remain. We will rise up from the darkness.
Creator, help me live in a way that will make my ancestors proud.
We will overcome the pain.
Creator, help me live in a way that will make my ancestors proud.
Warrior spirits live within us.
Creator, help me live in a way that will make my ancestors proud.
We shall remain.
Little brother, we will rise up from this darkness.
Remain.
Little brother, we will overcome the pain. warrior spirits live within us.
remain.
We shall remain.